Hey there, ladies, and welcome to the final day, day 7 of our self-control challenge. My goodness, you've made it, and I am so excited for you. Congratulations. I'm proud of you for sticking with this challenge and leaning into God's grace. Now, before I offer you a few tips to help you stay strong beyond this challenge, let me do a quick recap of our past week. Day 1, we acknowledge that self-control is an integral aspect of the fruit of the Spirit. We started foundationally with our awareness of areas in our life where we long to demonstrate more self-control. We prayed for direction and specifically declared the one area we would like to become more self-controlled in. I encourage you to start small by choosing only one focus area to tie your goal to a deeper why and to visualize your success. The second day, we focused on taking our thoughts captive. To me, this is kind of a linchpin. We learned about the power of intentional thinking, choosing to think, and anchoring our thoughts on God's truth. By taking every thought captive, we began building a mindset that aligns with His will and purposes. And we focused on identifying triggers, replacing lies with God's truth, and practicing gratitude, which is going to be repeated throughout the challenge. Day 3 was about taking very small steps. We focused on steps to help us prepare and resist temptation, such as celebrating our progress to learning to stack our habits. We also stressed how consistency matters more than perfection. Day 4, exercise your willpower while depending on God's strength in you. That's what the focus was. And we discovered ways to build discipline, overcome temptations, and say yes to what brings life. You know, the Holy Spirit equips you to persist and stay strong in the face of challenges. I stress the need to plan ahead when you can, to focus on one specific goal as you go, and again, to reward your progress to help reinforce that new habit. And the simple trick, a little ninja tip on that day, was to change the word can't to don't, to help you reframe your new identity, your healthy, life-giving, full of life, full of the Spirit identity. Day 5 was walking in that Spirit, and we explored how to consistently walk in the Spirit, such as starting your day with prayer, pausing to pray throughout the day or when you were faced with temptation, to breathe deeply to help reduce stress and to gain clarity. And again, we keep saying to reflect on your growth, celebrate your wins, thank God for increasing your passion for lasting transformation. Day 6 was all about fueling your soul. We talked about small, intentional actions to help you refuel to stay the course. You could choose nourishing inputs, refresh your body, and create margin in your day. Finally today, day 7, we're going to celebrate and stay connected. Today is all about celebrating your progress and committing to continue to grow in self-control. I love 2 Peter 1, 5-7. It says this: "For this reason, make every effort to add to your faith goodness, and to goodness, knowledge, and to knowledge, self-control, and to self-control, perseverance, into perseverance, godliness, into godliness, mutual affection, into mutual affection, love." You know, here the phrase make every effort can remind us that spiritual growth, including self-control, requires intentionality on your part. Celebrating progress acknowledges the hard work and reliance on God that it took to get you where you are now from where you were, and it's going to inspire you to continue growing and moving forward. Self-control is listed in these verses as a key virtue that builds upon others, faith, goodness, and knowledge, and then lays the foundation for perseverance, godliness, and love. It emphasizes that self-control is not an end, but it's a part of a larger process of transformation that you desire, giving you reason to celebrate incremental victories while you keep aiming higher. The passage also outlines these virtues in sequence, right? Implying that spiritual growth is step by step. Progress in self-control leads to perseverance and godliness, showing that each step forward is going to build your momentum. So celebrate where you are, knowing that your journey continues. And what's the ultimate goal of all of this? I love this little cherry on top. It's love. The progression in these verses culminates in love. What some would say is the highest Christian virtue you can possibly possess and demonstrate. This reinforces that self-control isn't just about self-discipline, but about reflecting Christ's love more fully in your life. Recognizing growth in self-control is worth celebrating because it's a step toward embodying God's ultimate purpose for you. And this passage finally anchors all growth in faith. Celebrating your progress honors God's work in your life, and you're acknowledging that growth is empowered by His Spirit. It's not just your personal effort. So I want you to continue to aim to exercise self-control and see it as a milestone to celebrate and as a stepping stone toward deeper transformation in your life. Goodness, you've had about a week to flex your self-control muscle, and you're retraining your brain and your body to respond differently when you're faced with temptations and those rascally thoughts and sticky scenarios that push your buttons and lead you to inertia or lead you to places you really don't want to go. The more you exercise your self-control muscle, the stronger you become, and the more likely you will be to make the right choice in the heat of the moment. The more reps you do at resisting whatever tempts you, the easier it's going to be for you to continue resisting, because your thoughts have formed a new groove in your brain that will naturally lead you in the healthier direction. It's like sledding down a steep hill, isn't it? The first few times down might be a bit bumpy, but the more you careen down the hill, the deeper the groove in the snow becomes, and the easier it is for you to shoot straight down the next time. So now it's time to celebrate your awareness, your desire to change, and for some of you, your big wins. Did you know that celebrating achievements reinforces those positive habits you're developing, and it encourages long-term commitment? Your brain loves rewards. So along the way, be kind to yourself, be gracious to yourself. You are a work in progress. It's about the long haul, isn't it? It's about being transformed by the renewing of our mind, just grabbing on to that mind of Christ. It's about longing and desiring change and allowing God to step in and do all the changing. Growth takes time. And if you feel stuck or stymied along the way, it could mean that you're just growing. That's all it could mean. It's just that this is a moment in time where maybe you don't see the flower and the fruit just yet, but there's a lot that goes on in between until you see that fruit. So hang on and keep going and keep persevering and surrender to God's power in your life. It's not just about your willpower. You are equipped, you are empowered by the Holy Spirit, and you're deeply loved by the one who began this good work in you. So let's commit, you and I, to carrying these lessons forward into the days ahead. You've done an amazing job this week. I want you to keep walking in step with the Spirit. And 3 quick tips to stay strong beyond this challenge. Reflect on the lessons. Go back through them. Maybe you didn't have time to listen to all the audio lessons. So go back, write down a few things. Even this morning, one sweet friend sent me her pages where she's taken down some notes and journaled, and she wants to go back to those and reflect on those and just remember what God has been teaching her this week and how God has been working in her life. So you can do that too. Go back and reflect on the lessons. My goal is to put all of these audios up on Patreon, and I'll also include like a special post just for supporters only. And by the way, you can support the podcast and the ministry for $1 a month. So it's not a huge investment, but it's an easy way to kind of have access to this. It's kind of like been a class, hasn't it? As I was reflecting back, it's been a little boot camp on how to help us all gain self-control and then continue walking in step with the Spirit. So I'm going to make these audio messages available on Patreon, as well as the guidebook. So you can download that if you haven't already. I'm going to keep the Facebook open for another day or two, so there's no real rush. You can also just keep going there, and no pressure to join Patreon or anything like that, but just something I thought I could do for the supporters of the podcast, because I need content on Patreon to do just that, and that would be a win for me as well. So I want you to not only reflect on the lessons, but also plan for your future. Set a goal to continue practicing self-control and track your progress. Someone said that they're going to go back over all of these lessons because they want to pretend like next week is that new week for them, and they're going to keep going along the same lines with this challenge and keep challenging themselves every single week. And the third tip to stay strong beyond the challenge is to stay accountable. Keep engaging with a friend that you've met maybe in the group, or someone who you know is on the same path that you are. Look to community for support there. 3 thoughts to help you this week. You can say, this week is just the beginning of a lifelong journey with God. You can say, I am faithful with what God has entrusted to me. And you can also say, God's Spirit empowers me to live a life of purpose and joy. You might want to jot those down and use those as your focus thoughts and affirmations to keep you strong in the weeks ahead. And for the action item for today, why don't you write a declaration about what you've learned so far and how you're going to continue to grow, and share that insight with our group. And please come together tonight if you can at 9 p.m. EST. I sent the Zoom link to you via Messenger. It's also, if you click on the invitation, you can find the Zoom link there, or you can go to our discussions and you can find the big image of the invitation to our Zoom meeting tonight. It's only going to last maybe half an hour or so. We have to end up after 40 minutes, but just to kind of come on and maybe share our wins and encourage each other and say, hey, this has been great. You can say, hey, I want to be held accountable. Let's do this thing together moving forward. So maybe there'll be someone there to also offer that for you. You don't have to have your video on tonight. You can just, if you're driving, you can tune in and just listen in if you want. But I want us all to celebrate together, and then I'm going to pray you out of the challenge this evening. So I hope to see you there. God bless you today, and thank you so much for joining this challenge.